What is going on YouTube? This is Gaming with Sal coming back at you guys with another video today, and in this video we're going to be talking about an update that Sledgehammer Games came out with on their community page that talks about Domination XL and possible tuning to the score streaks. Now before I get into the video, I just want to go ahead and say that I haven't been able to upload as consistently as I would like, and that's mostly because I'm still a college student and I had a lot of exams coming up this past week and just a crazy schedule altogether. So for those of you guys who do stop by and check out the channel and have been wondering where I've been, then that's mainly the reason why I haven't been able to upload. But for those of you guys who still check the channel out, who still have been checking out all of the past videos and have been commenting, leaving likes, all that good stuff, I really do appreciate it. I know that becomes really repetitive sometimes in almost every single one of my videos, but I really do mean it, that every single person who shows their support, it really makes my day, and I really hope that this channel can continue growing like it is right now. Anyways, like I said, Sledgehammer Games came out with this update, and specifically I wanted to touch upon where they talked about how they're going to be tuning some score streaks, because it's possible that they could be buffing them like how they did recently with the paratroopers. Now, at the same time, if you guys haven't seen it, go check out my other video where I discussed how Call of Duty needs to start making their streaks more powerful than they have in recent CODs and more like the Call of Duties from the past. I'll leave a link within the description below for that video. But within that video, I discussed how powerful streaks are essentially one of the many things that help make the multiplayer more fun, and I think World War II has the potential to do the same if they buff the streaks within their game correctly. At the moment, we don't know which streaks are going to be receiving changes, but I thought it would be nice to talk about some of the score streaks I personally think need to get buffed and some ideas on how to possibly buff them correctly within this video and go in more detail with it. Let's start off with the most underrated streak in my opinion, and that is the Molotov cocktail. This streak costs 300 points, but you only receive one cocktail. To me, this doesn't feel like enough. I liked it much better when we received 2 Molotov cocktails rather than 1 like during the beta, but for some reason, Sledgehammer Games decided to change it back to 1. Now, the chance of you getting a kill with just 1 cocktail is very slim in my opinion, because it requires you to have a good aim, and sometimes you might actually be a little off from being able to directly hit the enemy, and pretty much if you don't hit the enemy directly, you're not going to get a kill. And although it may seem cheap enough to where you can acquire the streak quickly, it doesn't feel as fun in comparison to when we used to get 2 Molotov cocktails and be able to feel like that we had a higher chance of getting that kill versus that chance with just 1 Molotov cocktail. So that's pretty much what I think about the Molotov cocktails. I really do think that they need 2 of them rather than 1, but I doubt that Sledgehammer Games is going to be making this much of a drastic change to the Molotov cocktail. Now, the next streak on my list that I think needs tuning is the counter recon aircraft. To compare the streak, think of the counter UAVs or the counter spy planes from past Call of Duties, where basically when you call this in, it acted like a UAV, except it did one thing that it doesn't do in Call of Duty World War II, and that is the ability to jam the enemy radar when you call the streak in. The fact that the new Resistance division that has been added to the game recently during the Resistance event has the Scrambler ability, which distorts the enemy radar, and this shows that this can be implemented into the counter recon aircraft, which would make the streak so much more worth using. Not to mention, you would then be able to earn assist points for calling in the counter recon aircraft, because every time your teammates would get a kill, you would get that certain assist points just like you do with the recon aircraft. I mean, in the end, I feel like it would help the streak much more in the long run, and it would actually give people an incentive to be able to use this, because the only thing that this streak basically does is it takes out the recon aircraft of the enemies, and if they really don't call any recon aircrafts in, then you making the decision to use the streak is pretty much useless. So I feel like that's the one significant thing that they really do need to change when it comes to the counter recon aircraft. Another streak that needs to receive a buff in my opinion is the flamethrower. Now, in terms of how much it costs to earn, which is basically 700 points, it seems pretty fair to me. However, they really need to increase the range of the flames. What Sledgehammer should do is make the range of the flamethrower in this game similar to that of the Purifier's flamethrower from Black Ops 3. With a range like this, the streak can actually help players gain much more kills upon their enemies rather than being outgunned by them when using the streak. So long story short, they just need to basically increase the range of the flamethrower. Next, I wanted to discuss about the Mortar Strike and the Artillery Barrage. These streaks have the potential to be useful and feel powerful. Unfortunately, they feel really underpowered, and personally, I think they're pretty useless. The Mortar Strike sits at 750 points to earn, while the Artillery Barrage sits at 850 points to earn. For streaks to cost this high, while only being able to get 1 to 2 kills max, is extremely disappointing. And yeah, sure, there have been times where I've actually been able to get maybe 3 or 4 kills, but at the same time, that's a very rare occasion. And it just feels extremely disappointing when using these 2 streaks whenever I actually get them. My idea to fix the Mortar Strike is to increase the kill range from what it is right now. Basically, cover more of the area that it's going to hit. By increasing the range, the player using the streak has a higher chance of earning more kills than they can from using it right now. And then with the Artillery Barrage, I basically have an idea that I don't think anyone else has really thought of, but I could be wrong on that. Anyways, what I think they can do with this streak is to have the mortars that come in on that one designated location that you call it in on, but have the mortars be able to lock down and aim on enemies that walk into the radius where you actually call the streak in. Now, I know that doesn't seem really realistic because artillery barrages really didn't do that back in World War II days, but at the same time, we are talking about Call of Duty, we are talking about a video game, and in terms of, making the game feel more fun, I feel like by bringing such change like this can actually make the player feel more rewarded for getting that artillery barrage. Overall, the Mortar Strike and the Artillery Barrage do have potential to become very powerful streaks, but they need to bring at least that one change I talked about with the Mortar Strike, and that is to at least increase the range that the Mortar Strikes do damage on whenever you call them on those designated locations. But overall, that's what I think about the Mortar Strike and the Artillery Barrage. Moving forward, the Carpet Bombing Run and the Ball Turret Gunner, which happen to be the top 2 highest streaks, need the biggest buff possible. First, the Carpet Bombing Run. Now, I find it so strange for this streak to cost 1400 points, and the player doesn't even get to choose the direction that they want to call this in. Basically, the Carpet Bombing Run is a plane that flies across the map 3 times, dropping bombs along the path that it takes, except the player can't choose the direction it will go in. By allowing players to decide where the streak will travel for all 3 turns, this streak will feel more worth the 1400 points and can be used more effectively to take enemies out in, objective game modes such as Domination, Hardpoint, etc. Finally, if Sledgehammer Games doesn't decide to change any of the score streaks that I just recently talked about, the one score streak that I feel like that they really do need to change though is the Ball Turret Gunner. Now, the first thing I think that they need to do is lower the cost of the streak from 1700 points to about 1500 to maybe 1550 points. Along with this, they really need to increase the splash damage. I can't stress this enough. The main reason why this streak doesn't seem as enjoyable as past streaks from other Call of Duty, such as the Chopper Gunner in Modern Warfare 2 or the Chopper Gunner from Black Ops 1, is because it seems like it takes a long time and a lot of bullets for the enemies to be taken out. And for someone like Sledgehammer who says that they want their games to feel more realistic, this isn't really acceptable. The splash damage needs to be increased for the streak, and it needs to also last longer. The time that the streak lasts in the air is too short for something that costs 1700 points and doesn't have enough damage to take out enemies quickly. If a player earns the streak, he or she should at least have 60 seconds to use it, not something like around 30. These changes to the Ball Turret Gunner will not only make it a better score streak, but it can also be a game changer for players to finally have a high-end streak that they can look forward to earning and wanting to earn. Overall, my message to Sledgehammer is to make small tweaks such as the one maybe that I mentioned like earlier in this video to the low end streaks or the mid-tier streaks, but then at least make the huge buffs to the high end streaks, because some of these streaks have the potential to be extremely fun to use. It's just the fun is taken away by minor things that can be easily fixed. And if you're going to have streaks that are going to cost a lot, they need to feel worth it. Anyways guys, these were some of my ideas on how to make the streaks in World War II more enjoyable and how it can help make the multiplayer itself more fun as well. If you agree with what I said in this video and have any more ideas on how Sledgehammer can improve with the streaks, go ahead and leave your ideas in the comment section below. I would love to hear your ideas. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead and leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to show your support. You guys can even leave some feedback on how I can make these videos better, because like I said many times repeatedly, and probably it's getting annoying now that I'm still new to all of this, so to hear any kind of constructive criticism or any kind of advice to help make my videos better, I would really appreciate listening to some of those advice. So go ahead and leave your comments down below if you guys have any thoughts, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you, and bye.